Wanted to do a quick overview of how to build a schedule. It's very critical for our company because so many people are basing information on this. So it's critical that this is kept up to date so that we know when certain materials are needed, potential settlement dates, excuse me, bank financing, a whole host of issues. So we update these every Wednesday to keep them as accurate as possible. The working schedule is what the person, whoever that person is that's managing that fiscal schedule, but just wanted to make this a quick video so that it's a little simpler to understand. One of the first things that I do is I click this button on the lower left just to make my screen a little bit bigger. And the other thing I do is go over here because you can take out a lot of these. As you can see right here, there's a lot of stuff up here that we don't even need. Unfortunately, this hasn't been updated with the software yet, but I've been told that this is part of the updates. The only ones that I actually use are 1 through 5 and these two down here. So let's just make a quick schedule, just a couple line items. So you just click the button, quick add, and these are called parents and children. So the parents are essentially the category, and then the child is the physical task that gets assigned to whomever is doing it. Of course, this thing is freezing. Just give me a moment. Okay, so if you're in a regular schedule, this is, or excuse me, a schedule that's already created and you're updating it, this is how you would do it. If you're just starting off a project from the ground up, we have a number of templates over here that I can show in another video, but they're already being updated and built. Whenever we miss something, we throw it in the schedule, and then hopefully the next schedule gets better and better. So with regards to, the wrong button, I'm sorry. So I like to break these up into parents and children, just for cleanliness. So let's just call this construction. We'll do interior actually, and then I'm going to have another phase called exterior, because that's essentially once we start going vertical, they run concurrent, but they run at different times. And then, so these are going to be the main categories, and I'm going to just do another quick add, and it can be anything. So interior, let's just call it drywall. And then do another add. We'll do trim, and then we'll do paint. Right. Okay. Now what we want to do is just hover over this with the left-hand click. We're going to bring this up into interior. We're going to bring the trim into interior, as well as see sometimes you make a mistake. And just bring it up here. There, it gets it back out. And drywall. There you go. Except for drywall is supposed to be first, so we'll put that up there. Okay, and then what we want to do, we want to bring these over, highlight them all, because we want them to be categories below it. Again, that's the children. See how that nicely cleaned things up. And if you wanted to make that even easier, create exterior later. Just giving you a quick high level. So let's say exterior, because when you click quick add, it's automatically going to go down here. So let's just do 2 or 3 phases. Exterior, let's do sewer, click on it, water, and concrete, something like that. And I'll show you why you have these children and parents. So they're essentially categories, right? Because when these schedules get pretty complicated, you know, when we first start a project, it's 12 to 14 months long, and we have a lot more categories. So we want to clean these phases up so we understand how long each phase is potentially going to take. So when we first start a house, or any project for that matter, could be apartments as well, these are going to be broken up into about 7 different phases, from design, permitting, bidding, and then construction, so on and so forth. So anyway, so this is what you have right now, and this also makes it easier for you to keep things clean. So what we'll want to do, and see how this automatically categorizes it as 1, and then these are all the children, so 1.1, 2, 3, and then as you have B0, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3. So let's just roll that up so it's a little bit cleaner. And what we're going to do is you got to create the predecessors, right? The predecessors essentially drives everything. So drywall's first. The number of days it takes is, weekends are not counted in this, so it's 5 days. And see how that just bumped this out over here on the right hand side. Temporarily, I don't really even use this, but we will print it this way because the Gantt chart is much easier to visually see. So we'll have 5 days, and then everything pretty much, unless it's running independent, needs predecessor. But the critical path needs that predecessor. So it's 1.1 because it's tied to drywall. And then see how this just nicely kicked this out. So this is scheduled Monday through Friday. And then it's pushing this out. And then the next, actually, how long does trim take? Trim takes 2 days. So now it's automatically calculated the 7th and 8th. And then paint takes, I'm just going to throw a 5 in there. It doesn't really matter. And then we're going to tie, can't do paint before trim. So that's tied to 1.2. Now, if you look over here, it's a nice clean schedule. And if you needed to move this out and say, hey, this is going to take a little longer, you can move it over here as well. I find it easier to move over here, just because then you don't have to manually count all the days. But let's just leave that for there now. So now we know this duration is running out roughly 2.5 weeks. So once we have that all built out for the interior, do the exact same thing for the interior. Let's say sewer takes 2 days. I'm just going to make it easy. 2, 2, 2. And even though this isn't really true, but sewer and water, let's say it has a predecessor. So it's tied to 2.2. And then this one's tied to, it's tied to 2.1. And this is tied to 2.2, right? So now, what I was talking about, the parents and children, now we can see which one is the critical path. And when we turn on the schedule for the critical path, which is right here, it's going to outline and show us which is the longest duration in red. So to our right-hand side, when we look at this very quickly, we can see that the interior is going to drive the exterior, the interior is going to drive the finish line. So the exterior is not as critical. We need to focus, obviously, on the interior first and foremost. Now, that being said, you want to assign all these tasks to a person, right? So like I was saying, unfortunately, I have to manually do this every time. They're going to update this soon. But we have to have a resource in here. So drywall is going to be Brent. That is Con at Metro. And you simply click his name. When you see that check mark, that's good to go. Click outside of this. Trim is CNA Carpentry, which is Isaias. Okay. Click his name. Now it's kind of weird. Sometimes, see, when you hit enter, it's kind of finicky. It doesn't work. So click his name, then click over here. Once you see his name in there, it's going to work. Paint is back to Brent. Click in here, click out. Sewer, that is Mr. Edwin. Oops. And sometimes you make a mistake and you click 2 people. So this is going to CAD Method Electric. Take him off, take him out. That's Edwin again. And this is all searchable, so it should be super quick. Concrete is Tony. Click. And there you go. So now you have all your phases set up. Everything looks good to go. Remember, working is not active. So if an investor or a banker, myself, I work off a working schedule personally because I'm updating it live. I'm looking at the published schedule, though. I'll just give an example. Let's just say we're in framing and I need to know when stairs need to be delivered by. Well, if I'm coordinating that, I would go to the published schedule. So what we want to do, like I was saying, is on every Wednesday, this should be updated as accurate as possible so that the information that everybody's going off of is as accurate as possible. We also have sales agents who are looking at this, negotiating with people with regards to settlements and things of that nature. And as the market has changed, that's become more and more critical. So it's it's very important that these are as accurate as possible. So when we're ready to go ahead and publish this, we're going to go to Publish button right up here, Publish. We are not going to mark the baseline because the baseline is the goal. So when we first start a project, a year before it delivers, we create a baseline schedule. So all we want to do is publish it. We're going to send out notifications for the resources. And again, the resources are right here. So if you don't have the resources, it's not going to notify anybody of anything. So we want to go to Publish, Notifications. We want to up this to 3 weeks. Don't even send it to clients. But internal users, yes. And I'm not going to send this because it's just going to confuse people. They're going to get a project that says fake project, and it's going to have tasks assigned for them. But we would go ahead and send this out. And then once you send it out, the working schedule jumps over to here, the publish. See how this one wasn't published, I guess, when we were testing it on 10/25. So during the next week, we're working off of it. So when we're ready to go, we go ahead and publish it. Then this changes to, let's say, October 31st. Now that becomes the next schedule that everybody's working off of. So again, this is just a very quick process, how to create a schedule. If you're starting from scratch, you'll want to come in here and import it, which I'll make in another video. But those are pretty much the fundamentals to get this thing working. And that's really all you need. So feel free to reach out if you have any questions.